Hey, what's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Sense of South Jersey with me, Kellen, for another fragrance video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the early 90s. The early 1990s for men's fragrances, I think, were an interesting time, a transition between what was to come in the mid-90s and in the early 2000s, and still a strangled power hold grip from the 80s on what was supposed to be men's style fragrance too. So we got 5 awesome fragrances from the early 90s that we're gonna take a look at here today. Before we jump into the video, if it's your first time here, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. If you're a frequent viewer, have not yet subscribed, it would be a huge favor to me to go ahead and do that. Again, the channel's growing and I can't thank you guys all enough for all of the support over the years. If you have an Instagram page, go ahead and check out the Sense of South Jersey Instagram page for news and updates on the channel, when videos are gonna drop, photos of fragrances from my collection, daily scent of the day posts, and a way to contact me. And we got some links for you guys. Again, if you're looking to purchase any fragrances directly from my collection, anything you've seen on the channel or on the Instagram page, check out the link to my Mercari page. It's in the description below. That's where I'm selling off things I'm no longer wearing, things I've reviewed already. And again, the whole point is just to make room for new fragrances, to make new content here on the channel for you guys. Also, I have a connection with an eBay seller under the fragrance store Eros Perfume Outlet. If you're looking for any vintage thing that you don't see that I have for sale that you want to get, they have a great selection. Awesome people. Everything is in perfect condition. And if you go ahead and message them on the eBay Messenger and say you heard about them from Sense of South Jersey, you'll get a 10% discount. And of course, too, for the button-down shirts with the patterns under the cuff and on the actual shirt itself, the Masudo link for the discount, 40% off their retail website on all products, is in the description as well, too. But guys, let's not waste any more time and let's take a look at these 5 fragrances from the early 1990s. Okay, let's start off with actual 1990 right out of the gate. We're gonna go with the Oriental Fougere, the fantastic Balenciaga Pour Homme. And guys, if you want a more in-depth description of this, I did recently do an individual fragrance review, so go ahead and check that one out. But Balenciaga Pour Homme, 1990 Oriental Fougere, take a look at that box. That bottle, it's absolutely pristine. I got this from Eros Perfume Outlet, just so you know, and it's in amazing condition. So let's spray some on a card here. It's got that built-in sprayer. Guys, this was something that hadn't happened to me in a long time. And in my video, I talk about how it was just an ultimate wow when I sprayed it. I was worried it was going to be too patchouli heavy, too much like a Zeno or like maybe a Angel Men by Terry Mugler, but it really isn't. I mean, there's patchouli there, but there's so much more. Cinnamon dry woods. It's, very masculine, very woodsy, but they were all like such distinct notes. Like you could detect different stages of this fragrance. Very woodsy. There's a barbershop aspect to it, like a woodsy talcum powder. It smells so good. And in 1990, this was still this really belongs in the 80s, this fragrance. And I know that I watched a short from another fragrance enthusiast. This was on YouTube, randomly just had come across it, that this did not do so well in terms of sales for Balenciaga. And it lasted all the way until 2000 or 2001 before it was officially discontinued. And it is expensive to purchase now, but if you can get a bottle and it's in good condition, wow, it stunned me about how good it was, and I'm so happy to have it. And just look at that, and you can tell it's been cared for. All the gold is still there, that hasn't worn off. The marbling on that built-in sprayer, apparently all of these are different too, and just this really cool bottle. I love it. So this is a great representation of a masculine, woodsy, deep, dark, sort of barbershop-y type of scent. And, again, not far removed from the 80s at all. And in the newest decade coming out right away from Balenciaga, it's a shame that it was discontinued. Okay, up next on this list, we are going to jump to 1992, and this is a fragrance release from the house of Jacques Bogart, very well known for One Man Show, Bogart Signature, many things. Furio, a lot of people are aware and familiar with the house of Jacques Bogart, but this fragrance does not get a lot of attention at all, and it is the 1992 release Witness. So Witness by Jacques Bogart. Look at that bottle, that brown, sort of desert tan, stone looking. And then I got the blue on the back there, Witness, with some brand information. What does it say? Oh, it's all in a different language. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna try and read it. It's all in French. So anyway, parfums, Jacques Bogart, you can see that there, made in France on the bottom. You got some of the information. Now, these are just cool boxes just to take a look at here. And you got the blue on the inside with the French wrapper. So this is a splash bottle, but the bottle, very well cared for. It says Witness here. Remember this bottle design, guys, for later in the video, though, please. And on the bottom, you got some stuff there. You see the batch code. And, well, maybe not, I guess, just something embossed glass. This is a splash bottle. So nice, thick, heavy cap. And this is an eau de toilette concentration, 100 ml. So I did decant it because I do like to spray. So this one, though, Witness, is probably the most old-fashioned smelling on this list. And, you know, we'll spray some here. This opens up, and it's very piney, very green pine in the opening. And then it sort of comes into a dry down of a stuffy, cinnamon, woodsy smell, but not like Balenciaga Pour Homme. It doesn't have the, like, just the higher end smell to it like Balenciaga Pour Homme does. This one might be the most difficult to wear out of the group here. It's sort of piney, sort of stuffy, sort of cinnamon, sort of woods, but it's sort of got like an old closet smell with a hint of cinnamon. It's, you know, a little bit stuffy of a fragrance. I think this is a difficult fragrance to wear. And it completely transitions, you know, from the green to that cinnamon, stuffy, woodsy scent, but it's not one that I am a huge fan of. I like it. I think the opening's the best. It does perform well. It sort of represents like maybe Jacques Bogart's last ditch effort to get an 80s classic powerhouse style scent out there in the, you know, the early 90s where things were starting to change a lot too. But Jacques Bogart's Witness is definitely an interesting scent. I would love to know if anyone's tried it. Okay, up next is a fragrance from the same year, released in 1992 from the House of Aubusson. This is Aubusson Homme. Really cool. I love the box. See, you know, the similarities between the two in terms of the box, right? Like, look at, again, that stone desert tan look. I really liked it. It's almost like they were competing with each other. They're probably made right down the street. I'm sure it looks that way. You know, you got that green streak on the box, the frosted green bottle, same thing, that desert tan sort of look here. You know, this one sprays out. I'll spray some on my hand. Good sprayer when it wants to work. And this one is similar to Witness in the sense that it does have woods. It does have like a cinnamon note in there as well, but it's infinitely fresher and way better in my opinion. You know, it's easier to wear. There's this green streak when it dries down where it smells fantastic in the air. And it sort of also is stuck between two different eras of fragrance, right? There's bits and pieces of an 80s powerhouse in here, but it's also making an attempt to be more modern, to be more fresher, cleaner, less dense. And it does a great job at that. And I say more modern in terms of a list of non-modern fragrances, right? But this is one that, you know, when you give it a chance and you wear it, it smells fantastic. The more I wear it, the more I enjoy it. It definitely is an easier wear compared to Witness, and it's not as dense. It doesn't have any old-fashioned stuffiness to it. You know, it definitely is old school, but when you put it on, you may, oh, this reminds me of something more modern, you know what I mean? Because, you know, when you smell something, it may trigger another memory. For me, this is its own thing because I did have it before in a small 30 ml, but I encourage if you're gonna buy it, because it's still very affordable, get a bigger bottle. They're usually easier to preserve because less oxygen get in. All the 30 mls I saw on eBay were all like low fill, so there was a big gap in there. But it's, again, a early sort of a woodsy cinnamon fir, and then of course balsam fir, and then there's like a brighter green streak in there too that I think it's awesome. And it's a great example of early 90s men's fragrances, you know, sort of coming of age from taking away from the 80s and trying to do something different. Okay, fragrance number 3 on this list, also from 1992. I didn't realize how many from the same year that I had ready to talk about until I was ready to prep for the video too. So this is a fragrance from the House of Leonard. This is Monsieur Leonard. And again, a 1992 fragrance, considered a woody aromatic. Let's get some of this sprayed out. So this is an interesting fragrance. The original Leonard Pour Homme is a very leather forward scent. Reminds me a lot of Van Cleef & Arpels Pour Homme. When I had it, again, I only had another low fill 30 ml bottle, so maybe I should revisit the Pour Homme, but I really didn't like it. It was very old grandma, powdery, dusty rose, old doctor's waiting room, just like Van Cleef & Arpels Pour Homme, which I don't like either. But this one, however, this one opens up very differently. It's very green. And in fact, it actually immediately reminded me of the great Gucci Nobile. So an awesome alternative to Gucci Nobile, I thought. but as the fragrance dries down, it sort of mellows out, flattens out. And in the base, there's going to be a combination of tonka and vanilla, which sort of isn't my favorite note combination, and it loses its greenness because of that. So it sort of falls flat on the second half. And I don't know much about this one. I saw some reviews. Some people love it. Still relatively affordable fragrance for the moment. Who knows how many of them are left. But it is interesting because, again, it's got the diff split between right down the middle. There's the opening is very 80s, right? Gucci with an 80s fougere, that green, the barbershop style. Smells great. And then after you have it on for a little bit, you're like, oh, it's sort of a vanilla tonka bean scent, which I know starts to come out a little bit as the 90s go on. Not that it gets like fresher or aquatic, but that vanilla tonka bean combo, I think in the end sort of just takes over everything. And it's not as good as it is when it opens up too. But I don't know, interesting bottle, very green, gold, very 80s. You can take a look at this, like it's got this cool texture to the box, Monsieur Leonard and bottle. This is a tester, and I got it. It was brand new. I actually had to open that up. It just didn't come with a cap, but who cares? And it's an eau de toilette 100 ml bottle. You can take a look here too. So pretty interesting. But it's green fougere in the opening. Really like it. And as it dries down, it sort of just becomes sort of a bust. But not a bad fragrance. Definitely easier to wear, and I think a better scent than say something on this list like Witness, which is stuffier, harder to wear overall. Okay, now it's time for the fifth and final fragrance on this list of early 90s men's fragrances. And this is from 1993, so we're going to jump ahead. And guys, I realized I said Monsieur Leonard was fragrance number 3, and in fact it was 4, so forgive me there. But again, this is the 5th one, and we're going to use the same house, Jacques Bogart, for their fragrance from 1993, and it is called Eau Fresh. Now, this scent was an instant love for me the second I sprayed it on. And it's really an interesting take because it seems like it may be a first attempt at Jacques Bogart in the 90s to really make a new modern scent. They left the most of what would be considered an 80s fragrance just in the base of this scent, but they went for something much fresher and much cleaner, hence the name too. So awesome sprayer. It opens up with some citrus and green, spicy, some coriander in there. And then when it dries down, it's like a piney, sporty, sort of a fresher green 80s scent with some oak moss as well. I really, really love this one. I love the bottle. It looks like that Witness bottle. So these are two fragrances where the bottle looked identical. Witness does come in a spray. This one was easy to find for a little while, and I heard about it on a smaller channel, Fragrance Matte, smaller channel like mine, way back when, and I'm like, I had to get it. Just the look, the name, the built-in, everything about it is awesome. It's got hints of the 80s, but it's like their shot at making something modern. Again, a modern, I'm talking on a list of non-modern fragrances, but it smells so good. Think just like a sporty, green scent with some spice in there. There's anise in that opening as well too, which is blended so well. It's awesome. In the same vein as some of the Lacoste Eau de Sport or Lacoste for men, but this one does have its own thing going on, and it's definitely sort of bridges the gap between the early 90s and then what's to come later in the decade with the fresher, more aquatic scents. But this one still holds on to its roots of the house of Jacques Bogart with the 1980s being green and sporty and masculine. I absolutely love Eau Fresh, love the bottle, love the box, love everything about this one. Okay guys, that's going to wrap it up for me. That was my list of 5 early 1990s fragrances for men. I hope you enjoyed the video. I love to kind of talk about fragrances like this. It kind of gives an idea of what was going on with men's fragrances from bunch of different houses, different ideas, different types of scents in that era. And as as time went on, everything started to change too. So let me know in the comments section what you think of the video, what you think of my picks. Do you have any of these fragrances? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you have other ones that are more rare or more obscure from the early 90s? Please let me know. You guys know I always appreciate all of the interaction. Make sure to subscribe. Check out the Instagram page, check out the links to my Mercari page and to Eros Perfume Outlet, that link again, and they're via an eBay-based store. Guys, thanks so much for watching the video and hanging out with me today, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.